edition, men's edition, where we come together and we try to help you to find love, keep it, make it epic through the processes and skills and strategies we've learned over the years. We've helped thousands of couples. Matter of fact, we have helped even over 30 clients, or 30 couples, I should say, over 60 clients, directly mentoring them, helping them to speed up the process and get engaged in less than 12 weeks. It's what we do. We help the Amish to find godly spouses, create epic marriages through our marriage mastery process, and then develop their legacy through our legacy leadership program that is rooted in faith, freedom, and above all else, love. Good morning and welcome back. Carlos here, ready to rock and roll today. Great topic. Love talking about love, but love talking about relationships and what matters in relationships and where people find struggles, but then where we help them with strategies and skills and to create the blessings and benefits out of the burdens or the heaviness, the weight of things that come in relationships. So this morning I want to keep conversation going. Last night I had a talk with our men on Monday nights in our community. I do a talk about relationships and help the men to create strategies for their relationships, whether they're single, engaged in dating, or married. These skills are appropriate, and we help men to really thrive in the midst of relationships. So last night's topic we were talking about was roles and responsibilities of the home, roles and responsibilities of the husband or the wife. Like, what are they? What do they look like? What are you used to them being? And welcome this morning. Before I get started and launch into this topic, it's cold out there. You staying warm? We're in Georgia, Social Circle, Georgia, and it is about 16 degrees outside today. So a wee bit chilly. And it's good to be indoors where it's warmer. But how's your day going? Where are you um, listening in from? I always love to hear where people are listening in from. Give a shout out, say hello, say good morning, tell me, are you at work? Are you just jumping on because you want to be a part of this time together? And what's your temperature where you are? I know Texas, I was in touch with Texas yesterday, and they were experiencing some really cold weather, which is rare. In certain parts they get cold weather, but man, it was like 16 degrees as well. 17, I believe, there yesterday. So stay warm. So good morning, and let me know where you are, what part of the world you're in. Cheers. Thanks for joining us. So our topic, what do you know about roles and responsibilities of the home? What do you believe and why? Tell me your belief about the roles, responsibility. Put in the chat what you think is the roles and responsibilities of the husband, of the wife, of the man, of the woman, roles and responsibilities in the home of the father, of the mother, and why do they differ? Who created those roles and responsibilities? And what keeps us from yoking together? What does the yoke represent? That was our topic last night of what are those roles and responsibilities, and then what does this have to do with the yoke? What part does the yoke play in this process? So, cheers. Good morning. Welcome. It's quiet out there this morning. Is it cold? So everybody stayed in bed? Could be. Could be. Could be. Let's see. Let me make sure we're good. Okay, we're back. Let's see. I'll reset it a little bit. Okay, good morning again. So let's get into it then. I can be a talking head. I don't mind. It's good practice, right? If nothing else, it's good practice. But as you jump on, would love to hear from you as you're joining us on this live talk. Love talk with the Amish Matchmaker. There we go. Maybe it's working now, Jesse. I just refreshed it, so I'm not sure what's going on. Sometimes this thing doesn't kick in, but hopefully it's working now. Looks like it might be. Oh, okay. Wow, interesting. Okay. Well, these things happen. Looks like I have to sign in for some of these. Oh, lovely, 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 lovely. Oh my goodness. Well, Jesse said YouTube, but it looks like even Facebook wasn't letting me go live. Yes, it's me. Here we go. Hopefully it will work now. All right. There we go. Every once in a while, we have to re-log in. So, all right. Was it going this whole time? I have no clue. Sometimes I don't even know how this is working, but it says, it looks like I'm live now on both places streaming. Oh my gosh. What in the world is going on? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Let's see if this is going to continue. Would you like to continue? Yes, I would. So, can we just log in? There we go. Patience, right? Is that what we say? You just be patient. I think so. All right. So, we're trying this again, Jesse. Is that going now? Boy, technical difficulty today. All right. I think you're good now. I had to log in and redo it several times. So good. It appears to be good now. It says streaming. So, okay. What a weird thing to be delayed by technology. Dun, dun, dun. Be easy if I just streamed it to one place. I think you're good now. Okay. We got YouTube, we got Facebook. It's all working now. Hopefully it's on track and going. And we could get to our topic. Sorry for those of you that are watching and it's not working right. Hopefully now it is. But here we go. Let's get into our topic. Roles and responsibility of the home. And how couples actually can be yoked, and what that means to yoke up, and what's the yoke represent in the Bible? What's that represent for relationships? So thank you, Jesse. Appreciate your support, brother. Super awesome. But I want to continue our conversation from last night as we talked about. So what if we get out of sync? What if we're like not, we call it conflict resolution, but I want to talk a little bit about it because I know how important being in sync and being connected to our spouses. I do. I love it. It really matters to me. And And I know that it is important. I really do. So I want to acknowledge the importance of and the priority of being in sync with your spouse. I think that's first step, or being in sync with the person that you are dating and looking to marry someday. That's where I would probably differ than most people out there talking about relationships. Is that the purpose of dating would be to court her to marry her. Um, so if you are single and you're here and we're helping you to have to find a godly spouse, then pay attention to this too, because this is what helps to create a relationship that is beneficial, in sync. And when you choose to yoke, that's where becoming one flesh goes to a whole nother level, because there are areas in your life that you can choose to yoke in that makes a difference. And I will tell you that God will bless it when you choose it, no matter what the how do I say this, the skill level of your wife in that particular area, or skill level of your girlfriend, or skill level of your fiance. And why do I say that? Because I think a lot of men say, well, she doesn't qualify for me for me to yoke up with her in this area, like finances, for instance. We've worked with a lot of couples and a lot of men and women who believe it's best that they have separate accounts, and that, she's not dipping into my account. I worked hard for this money, and I can't let her, be utilizing my account too, and she'll spend all the money. And again, I'm just going to tell you what's worked for us and what I believe the Bible talks about when it says yoking, because I believe yoking up is actually shared responsibility, shared also contribution. So let's talk about what that is. I want to talk about what it is first, because I think that a lot of you, when we're pulling the weight together, there are different areas in life, like spiritual life, our values, what we believe, money, provision, budgeting, like our work schedule, our dreams, our goals, children, training, discipline. Like, these are all like emotional peace, taking care of ourselves. What about intimacy and connection, date night? What about family boundaries and how we address and what we're going to do for the holidays, right? These are all, and even future visioning of, like, will we have more businesses? Will we have one business? Will we have a business, or will we both just work? And or will only one of us work? And we share the roles and responsibilities in that way, where, okay, I've decided I'm going to work and you're going to stay at home, or you're going to stay at home and I'm going to work. Like, it doesn't, marriage and relationship is about understanding what the yoke looks like, and then walking it out and developing that relationship through um, the yoke. But first and foremost, I think it is definitely important to understand what I mean by yoke. When you choose to go in the same direction, when you choose to get into synchronicity, and you choose to pull equal weight together, that's where equally yoke comes in, where you're choosing to yoke in that particular weight, or yoke in that particular area of life. You're going to see God's blessings. I truly believe that. And so today, as we're talking about what happens though if we get out of sync, first of all, do you believe and understand the yoke, and where there's equal responsibility, and not jockeying for position, but yet actually willing to, I was using the example last night talking about this, like, what are you willing to do, or what is it that you've taken on by yourself? Maybe it is even the financial burden, or the income, the breadwinner. You're the breadwinner, and you don't think she has to contribute at all when it comes to money. She's taking care of the home. Well, or maybe it's, that there are areas where she is taking care of the kids, that you're refusing to change diapers, or you're refusing to, the child's up sick late at night, sick and throwing up, and you're like, well, you take care of that because I got to go to work tomorrow. I'm the breadwinner. This is where the yoke comes in. Shared responsibilities. What does that look like? What do you believe is the role or responsibility of the husband? What is the role or responsibility of the wife? And why do you believe that? And how does this affect you if you're single? Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to even clean a toilet? Have you ever had to clean? Like, again, these are very important things to answer and understand. And then what about now? Let's say, hey, okay, I agree. We're in this yoke thing, and I've decided to yoke. But what happens when I get out of sync? What happens when? How do I get out of sync when the loads are, or maybe the load's uneven? I'm carrying more of the load than she is, or she may say, "Hey, I'm carrying the more load than you are." When we face the fact that potentially I am carrying a bigger load or she's carrying a bigger load in certain areas of our marriage or certain areas of our life and relationship, maybe it's even with the attitude of well, I'm always the one that's got to keep the everything light and happy, and with her, she's always negative Nelly, or maybe it's you're the negative Nelly and she's always keeping things happy and light. These are roles and responsibility too of the emotions and how the emotions are, and maybe it's even how things are coming together in your life and what you're doing to create those things, right? Create the atmosphere in your home. Like, what are you doing? Is it her responsibility only to create the atmosphere, or are you contributing to that as well? What is your role and responsibility too when it comes to the energy of the home, the love, the planning of date night? Is that you or is it her that's doing that? So let's get into this a little bit. What do you do when the yoke is off or when the balance of the weight is off? Excuse me. Okay. How do you know the yoke is off in your marriage, in your relationship? Do you even believe that a yoke is part of the relationship? What are some of the first signs? What would you say? I love to see the interaction with people. So if you have some comments or thoughts, please put them out there. Do men usually get quiet, angry, or avoidant whenever things are off, when there's conflict, when there's not peace, or when you feel overloaded? How do you respond to things being off in your relationship, being out of sync with your loved one, your spouse, your wife? And what do women usually do when they feel overloaded? How is it that your wife responds to being overloaded in the relationship, in life? Maybe some symptoms we could talk about as you start to see the overload taking place. Maybe you're having arguments, you're having your spouse, maybe she feels alone, or your girlfriend, you guys keep having this argument and you're having this disconnection. There's tone of voice changes, and maybe there's a little bit of put down through the tone, or less intimacy if you're married. And we believe in marriage, by the way. We believe that it's good to reserve sex and intercourse for marriage. Truly do. Maybe it's money stress is rising. How we're going to pay for things. Maybe it's something with the kids, that how to raise the children, what church to go to, spiritual things. Like maybe you're in disagreement about that, or about even something as you're planning the wedding, or you're dating and you're engaged and like trying to figure out the ring situation, what the colors are going to be for the wedding. And it sounds like sometimes when we talk about this stuff insignificant, but when you're in the moment, it's real. It feels very real to those who are going through that stuff, and they start to be burn out and feel resentment, and feel like they're pulling this and managing things all by themselves. And where are you in this? Like, when the yoke is off, you don't just lose, the help you lose the peace and the connection drops, and you feel like, well, I'm on this journey. Potentially a lot of people feel like they're on this journey alone because they're getting a silent treatment, or the other person is not responding like they normally do. There's just no connection there. And so then what do we do? The direction, you feel like your direction is off, you're not headed in the same direction, no longer headed in the same direction. So what do? You're both working hard, but potentially towards different goals. One wants peace and simplicity and keep going the same way you're going. The other one wants change or expansion or more money. And you're like, why can't you be content? There's no clarity. So you drift, you get distracted. You feel like playing more video games instead of spending time with her. Do you follow me? Like, well, just when I spend time with her, I don't feel good. It's just frustrating because she's always complaining, nagging. We always have these fights, these arguments. So, what are you doing with that? Where do couples drift in direction? Like money, parenting, pace of life. Maybe it's boundaries and things that you're working through with relationships outside the family or even extended family. Maybe it's one spouse is running and the other one's crawling. You're like, oh, we got to do this. Let's go. It's time to go. Time to work on our goals and dreams. One's in burnout. The other one's not getting started. One's tired. The other one is energized. And you feel like, man, one's anxious and one's calm, right? You're calm, she's anxious, then she's anxious, and or you're anxious and then she's calm. Like, we can't seem to ever land and get in sync. Have you ever faced these things and dealt with this? Even if you agree on the direction, if your pace is off, like you're going fast and she's going slow, or she's going slow and you're going fast, or sorry, she's going fast and you're going slow, that you're just doing the opposite when it comes to even the pace, that can be frustrating. That can get you out of sync and you'll have a fight. It's real. And I would tell you 99% of the fights that we have dealt with in our life, Chantel and I, we've had our conflict and our fights. Conflict resolution is a big key to a successful, epic relationship and marriage. It a lot oftentimes has to do with identity. Our identity is off. Our identity feels challenged. We don't feel confident in that area of our life. So then we struggle and we fight it. And we feel intimidated by dealing with that. And so the load feels heavier. So let's talk about this. Is anybody still out there? I think this is not working well today. Usually we have loads of comments and usually there's loads of people watching. So I think something's off with my technology today. Yoo-hoo! Everybody slept in because it's cold, freezing cold out there. I do love the interaction, by the way, in the comments. So if you are still here, let me know. If it is still working, the streaming is going, let me know. Maybe you'll watch the recording. Let me know if you're live or watching the recording. That's awesome. All right, the yoke, excuse me, the yoke map. What are you facing this week? Algorithms are off. Hey, what's up? Thanks. What are the main weights in any home? Um, what are some of 8 to 10 things that you face? Some of your budgeting, your money. We know that's kind of a thing. Spiritual leadership, though, work schedules, chores, the discipline of kids and things you're doing in the home. How about emotional peace and emotions, intimacy, connection, vision, goals? These are all things it's to be aware of and to recognize. To recognize that it's a real thing. Tell them to do like it's write it down on paper. You need to write it down on paper, because just sometimes when we just think about it, it's not as beneficial as if we actually write it down. Because when you write it down, then you can look at it and you can process it and analyze it. So it's very powerful to do that. Jesse says he can't. Oh, figure it out. Okay, got it. You can comment now. Good. Thanks, Jesse. So when you're not equally yoked in a scenario or situation, how do we get back in sync? If you're feeling I'm carrying most of the load, or man, she's carrying most of the load, you're looking at the household things and duties and chores and kids, and she's doing all of it. And you think, well, that's okay because I'm the breadwinner. I carry the load of the finances. So of course, when I come home, I should just prop my feet up. You know, what are you looking at? Is she carrying it? Are you carrying it? Or are we carrying it together? Are you making decisions together? Now, I'm not talking about micromanaging. That can get very frustrating. deeply deeply connected to your weekly planning. I love it, Jesse. Thank you. That's super true, because planning is the key, one of the key elements to having shared yoke, to having shared responsibilities and roles in the home, to define what it looks like this week, to define and know what the schedule looks like, especially if you're doing business together, recognizing that. And this is some of the things that Chantel and I are working through right now, because here we are, the 27th of January, and we have not worked out with our trainer all month long. And I'm like, we've got to get back to that. We've got to get, our health is important. I love working out. I love going to our trainer specifically. Yeah, we could do, sit ups, push ups, and stuff here at home together, and we could do our own thing. But we really love and enjoy our workouts with our trainer. It's challenging, it's fun. The environment of the community and the group there at the gym that we work out at, we enjoy that. So is it okay to say, I want that back? I really enjoy it, and this is what I want. And to get in sync with Chantel to say, yeah, we both want this. Now let's work out how we're going to make it happen with our new business and our new schedule. Is it a reality? And this is just one example, because again, like Jesse said, it's really powerful. It's true. The planning is the key to getting into sync in the yoke. Because as Chantel and I were talking about our schedule this week and things we want to do, we are thrown off a little bit because today's Tuesday and it's like our first day of work because we were off yesterday because of the ice and the freezing weather. Um, for safety reasons, we didn't have the team come into work. But what's the one way that you see and can tell that your wife is drowning under? Or what are you feeling like you're carrying all of it and you're feeling like you're drowning? Maybe it's debt. Maybe it's the finance. Maybe it's the responsibility of how to get more cash flow, how to get more money. That seems to be a huge one, by the way. Or maybe it's, intimacy. I want to pursue her, especially if you're married. Again, I'm a big proponent and very strong in the sense of that intimacy and intercourse, if you would, is designed and made for the marriage. I believe that's what marriage is. That's what it's been designed, and God set it aside for marriage, becoming one flesh with one person and one person only. That is our stance and our understanding, and how that does. But that is a part of even roles and responsibility. Do I pursue her? Or am I waiting for her to pursue me? Like, because, hey, I'm, tired but what about even, like I mentioned, doing some of the household chores? Do you know how to do dishes? Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to change a diaper? Do you know how to um, stay up with the child, even though you worked all day? And so does she, by the way. And then they're sick. Are you able and have the strength and capability to nurture them and love them and give them, comfort while they're coughing or maybe they're throwing up? Why is it that it's her responsibility? Well, I got to go to work and I'm the breadwinner. She's got to get up and take care of the kids too. Like, that's part of the process if that's what her role is. Or maybe she has to go to work as well. So then who does these things? In one area, can you start to see how you could even step in? This is an area that, again, I'm willing, but I realized that at times, and it's showing up now that Chantel and I are really on the same work schedule, even right this year. Hazel is not doing club volleyball, and so we're not committed to that kind of vigorous schedule with club volleyball. It's freed up some time and space. We made the decision to purchase another company and to work in it together to develop it quickly and efficiently, our 12-week challenge of doubling our income. So then when I look at this stuff, I recognize that one thing that was happening, because we're both going and putting in the hours at this business, and we're co-CEOs, she's hustling, she's doing the work, and then we come home and there is this basket of laundry. Why is it that I can't fold it? What makes me think I can't? And I'm not saying I don't. I'm just talking about, like, in men's perspective, why is it that they're like, I don't fold laundry. I just, grab clothes out of the laundry basket. It's interesting how we automatically maybe assume, or maybe there's something in society for men, or the way you were raised, or the culture you were raised in, that I don't fold clothes, or yeah, I don't even do laundry. I don't even know how to do laundry. I don't even know how to cook. I don't even know how to do dishes. Like, what are the things that you don't know how to do? And why is that? Because you believed you were never going to have to do that? I want to hear from you. Like, what is it, some of these things that, that you could swap this week even? I'm going to change all the diapers when I'm home. You don't have to do one single diaper. Or, hey, I'm going to cook 2 meals this week. And I talk about laundry folding because it's a little thing, but it's real. You come home from work, you're both tired, you both had a long, worked hard, made lots of decisions, and then you see this basket of laundry sitting on your bed at home. What do you do with it? Put it on the floor? Or do you work together? Or do you just take initiative as a man to do it, to start folding the laundry? What would it hurt? Even the littlest things. Like, last night, I was thinking about this. Oftentimes, like, because we have these, throw pillows on our bed. We make our bed every day. Chantel is the main one who makes it because I'm first out of bed. I'll try to help kind of get the bed prepped for her. On my side of the bed, do you do those little things? Do you even think of those little things if you're married? But even in your dating relationship, do you open the door for her? Has chivalry been thrown out the door? Are you still a gentleman? It is important. And so, going back now to even helping fix the bed, the throw pillows. So at night, I realized Chantel's the one that takes the throw pillows off the bed, usually kind of preps the bed for us to get into, because usually I'm whatever, she's done before I am. I brush my teeth after her, but I've made it a goal and a target to always, again, these are ways to be in sync with each other, is I've worked on to where I try to do, again, this is my rule I've made for myself to create good connection and synchronicity with my bride, is to go to bed together, get in bed together. And believe me, there are times where I'm finishing up. I have to do some more extra work. I'm answering some emails, taking care of some things that maybe I get in better late, a little bit after she does. But that's always the goal and the target. That's part of getting in synchronicity and being on the same page and working on stuff together. Is what is our schedule together? Do we have meeting points in our schedule? Do we have breakfast together? Or maybe do you have dinner together? What ways do you meet up and have a connection time or planning? I realize, again, the world we live in, that people work different jobs, and I love the fact that my wife and I have developed, bought, and grown businesses together, and that we are in business together as partners. It's powerful, and I highly recommend it. But you've got to have the skills to be able to do these things. And so, again, going back to the laundry thing, or last night, excuse me, the whole pillow thing. So, I knew I thought, I'm going to pull the pillows off the bed and get it ready, and even turn down her side of the bed, pulling the blankets and sheets down, getting it prepped for her to crawl into bed. It's the little things that really matter, that show that you care about her, that show that you love her. And you can do some of the things too, because usually she does that. She'll get the bed prepped for us to go to sleep, right? And I know that you're like, what? What does that have to do with anything? A lot. bedtime routine together, and reading together, connecting, having conversation at night together, having a time where we come back into synchronicity because we've been busy all day or going different directions throughout the day because we're also dividing and conquering. There is that where it's like, okay, if we plan out the week and then we're going to get more done in less time, efficiency, effectiveness, and really good production, it is powerful and good if she's doing things and you're doing things. You can get more done that way, especially when you trust each other and you're working together in a business. What if, you know, you took a turn to do some of the laundry on the weekend even? Or men, I highly say that this is your responsibility. I just put it on you because it's part of the art of pursuit. You plan the date night. You make sure that you're following through with the date night. Because again, the week, if you're busy and going, and by the way, you're probably not going to feel like doing a date night if on Saturday you didn't rest. It's just the reality. Friday night, we choose to rest, we put our phones away, and then Saturday we chill and relax and sleep in. It's a nice day of rest. So then there is the whole plan of what date night looks like and taking initiative to plan that day out. Excuse me. Evening out, if it is like what we do and what we recommend, is Saturday night. Give your best to your spouse after your rest. That's what we believe, and that's what we encourage people to do. Give your best after your rest. Can you handle and initiate checking in with your wife, even, or your girlfriend, or your fiance? Can you check in with them and reach out to them instead of them always having to do that to you? Look, there's power in sharing and yoking in roles and responsibilities, but even who is pursuing who. Again, this is not letting the women off the hook. I encourage men to pursue their wives in all areas and to open doors, be gentlemen, to pull out the chair for their wives, to really be attentive of their wives. These are great things to do in your relationships. But here's the thing, wives too can do this. This is the power of relationships and connection, is to be able to honor and bless your wife and share in these roles and responsibilities, and to then have her as well share in the things that you're doing, the finances, the ideas of how to create more cash flow for the home, how to get the dreams done, and planning out those trips and things that you want to take. Where are we going? What are we doing on date night? How is our nights coming together when we go to bed together? Are we having a meal together a day per day to where we can connect and reflect on the day and the way that we have approached the day and the ways and the victories we've had in our day, and to even just be able to be a sounding board for maybe when the day was off for your wife, whether it's the kids that she was taking care of at home and the challenges she faced with the kids, or maybe she's working and you're staying home, or vice versa, or maybe you're both working. But when you come home, do you have that time to meet up and connect and have dinner? If you have kids, that time may be not at dinner because you're handling the children, you're feeding them, or there's different things you're doing, and then you got chores afterwards as far as doing the dishes and cleaning up, and again, these are all part of the thing. If she's cooking, is it okay that you clean up then? If she cooked the meal, you can honor her by then getting up and helping clean up since she cooked. Like, again, what is wrong with us sharing these things and being yoked in those responsibilities? So then if you have children, again, I know how that can be. So then you put them down to bed. Who's reading? Maybe you take turns reading to the kids, and each one, you take a turn, she takes a turn, and you trade and share in those responsibilities. In a lot of cultures, they think, oh no, that's just the wife, she's supposed to be that. I disagree. I totally disagree. That's the balance and the blessing of being yoked. But are you coming back into synchronicity daily? Are you coming back together? And if you're dating, or you're engaged and not living together yet, we believe in marriage, like I said, and that covenant and that paper, that marriage license is powerful, and it does declare your covenant, declare your wanting to honor and in front of the world and have people hold you responsible. The marriage ceremony even does that. Like it's powerful to have that ceremony and declare it before your friends and family. Really amazing. So, are you coming together then at night? Excuse me, I'm sorry. I was going to say, if you're dating and engaged, are you then pursuing her at night through a text or leaving her a sweet message or having that final phone call before you go to sleep at night? These are amazing things to bring you into synchronicity and continue to show that you care and that you want to share in those burdens or those challenges or those weights that are on her shoulders from the day. That's what we do, men. But it's not about taking it all on for us. Casting your cares upon the Father is where what matters. And having that connection to Father and then connecting to our spouse is very powerful. It is part of the roles and responsibilities, what I believe and what I've seen. Yoking with Papa first and yoking with her. The pressure is off of you and put it on the Father. That's what he asked us to do. So that's what we need to do. And are we keeping pace together? Are we connecting throughout the day? Do we have those standing appointments with each other throughout the week? So then part of that has to do with how are we planning? Are you planning a date night? If you're dating or engaged, are you pursuing her? How are you pursuing her? Are you daily sending her GWs? Last week we went over Epic 30 and I shared it with you and I did it a demonstration with you. Well, then what are you doing with that? Are you still doing that process? And are you faithful with it? Take one weight off of your girlfriend's plate this week. Take one weight off your fiance's plate this week. Take one weight off of her shoulders if you're married to. What is one thing that you can do to lessen her load and pull in the same direction, get in sync together, and make sure that you're carrying the weight together? It's a powerful process. For single men, you're practicing this yoke. You're pursuing her. You're connecting. You're learning to validate and learning to be a safe place for her to be able to share what she's facing, those hurts, those hangups, those hardships of the day, of the week, the relationships that she is struggling with, maybe at work or at school, or things that maybe if you're in college. Again, do you know how to have the skill of even validating men? Seriously, do you know what that means? And why is it important? Well, because that's part of allowing her and helping her to release that frustration and that stress that she is carrying. What can you do this week? Now let's look at some of these comments. Proper planning with a solid MVP. Yeah, is very helpful. Some of this languaging you may not recognize. MVP is to create a mission, a vision for the week, and then what sets it apart, the peculiar. Mission, vision, peculiar. That's what MVP stands for. So if you're planning out your week, MVP is critical. That's part of planning. To know what is the mission, what does it look like, what do we want to create this week, and getting in synchronicity with the plan is powerful to create intimacy and love and affection in your marriage. But also, if you're engaged, also, if you're dating and starting to synchronize your life together. That's truly what I believe is missing is people dating don't realize that if they're dating, it should be for a purpose of getting married someday, getting engaged and then married. And there's a process. And there's a process of connection, a process of synchronicity to where it's a natural progression to where you become one flesh and actually literally connect on a deep, intimate level of intercourse. Like that's real. But it's part of the process of synchronicity and connection and yoking up. Now, again, I only believe there's one person that that you should be one flesh with. That is your spouse. Just so you understand my beliefs. But again, very powerful, Jesse, talking about synchronicity on the same page. spreading things out to avoid unnecessary load on one day or on one person. So, did I inherit assets? Oh my goodness! And somebody asking, how did you become prosperous? Is it your mindset? Oh, I was gonna let me show these. This is great, Jesse. Sorry, these comments. All right, good, Jesse. Very good. Thank you, brother, for this. It's so true. The planning makes all the difference, as you can see there. This corn dude or whatever says, how did you become prosperous? Is it your mindset or did you inherit assets that let you stand on your own more? Well, it was a mindset for sure. I inherited, even the mindset had to be shifted. I was never taught how to um, necessarily make money from my parents or how to create wealth or assets or abundance, like, or how to invest. I was never taught any of that. I literally had to go pursue that and gain wisdom about that. I wasn't raised with that. Yeah. So raised very poor, as a matter of fact. And my father passed away and he left me a funeral bill. It's real. Like, so, and he passed away when I was 19. And then also a family that I took on for a season. My brother and sisters were much younger than I was. And so I did. I took on blessing them and helping them and trying to take care of them, trying to be dad. Should have never tried to be that role. Should have stayed brother. But again, just kind of sharing a little bit of what I went through. And then I always had a strong work ethic for sure. I was always very aggressive and hard worker and willing to do whatever it takes in high school. And yeah, I had jobs while I was in high school, been working since I was 13, had my own side business or side hustle. I've always had something going on. So, anyways, yeah, it's a skill. And I learned a lot from many mentors over the years. Yeah, Zig Ziglar, Danny Johnson, um, man, Richard Branson, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk. Like I'm telling you, I've studied billionaires. I've studied, yeah, even Amazon, right? Jeff Bezos. Like there's so much books I've read, uh, trainings I've been to, hundreds and hundreds of events for leadership and personal growth and development. Hundreds, not just a few, hundreds over the last 15 years. My journey of personal growth and development is where it's really, really started to get heavy, and I knew I needed to change my mindset. And it is, you're right. It's really heavy about mindset. Okay. All right. So we've got another comment here. Self-discovery workshops is getting expensive. Yeah, I bet. Do it together. Learn together. Learn, apply, and put it into action together. I'm just saying. Like, this is a reality. I get it. Some people that come on here, I get it. This is what that's a perspective that yeah, it makes it tough, right? Growing as a person, coincidentally, so is the credit card bill from all her self-discovery workshops. Yep. So why aren't you in sync in that portion? So it's a skill to get into sync. Are you guys going to bed together? Do you have date night? Do you wake up together? I encourage that as well. Waking up together and going to bed together is a powerful thing. My wife will be up in a little bit and we'll get into synchronicity. We'll have coffee together. We will connect on a deeper level in the sense of communication. We do our Epic 30 together. Super powerful and super beneficial. It's the one thing that we have found makes a huge difference. So, again, what is it that you do to get in synchronicity with your wife? Do you have planning session like Jesse talked about? It's real. Like MVP. What is your MVP for the week? How are you attacking the week together and getting in on the same page? We talk about all these things with, oh, how she's spending money. Well, are you guys communicating about what your goals are for the week and how you're going to attack things and working on the finances together, where money's going to be allocated and where you're going to invest in life. And are you going to invest and then do it together? My wife and I made a significant investment For 10 years, she and I went to events, hotels, food, travel expenses, and the event itself for leadership, personal growth development. We committed for over 10 years to that process. It was powerful. Now we host events and train and teach, but we still go. We'll be going to one in March, huge one, and a huge investment to go to it. We keep leveling up in all the ways that we are developing ourselves and continuing to learn and grow. It is a lifestyle for us to constantly be learning and growing. Sheila, good morning. Thanks for being here. Good to see you. I guess you just finished up yours. Was that at 5:30? Yeah, you probably just finished up yours. Thanks for coming by and saying hello. Love that. But again, this equally yoked thing is super powerful. Are you willing to take on some of those things? And what has been your experience? Even the women, as they jump on here, I would love to hear from the women. Like, what do you believe is a woman's role and a man's role in the home and responsibilities? And why do you believe that way? Why do you believe this is his role, this is my role? Or this is her role and this is my role? Like men, I want to see comments, and we'll do deeper dives into this and talks about this, because again, it does seem like there are lots of perspectives out there of what she should be doing and what he should be doing in the home. And where did this come from? Why do you believe that? Well, that's what mom and dad did, or that's what I was told. That's what the pastor said, that men are responsible for this and women are responsible for this. Well, again, we went through a list of things today. And I truly believe that where you're willing to yoke, you're going to have greater blessings doing it together. And this business that Chantel and I bought together, she closed the deal, and she is the majority shareholder, if you would. She is. And again, you say, well, I thought you just said you're equally yoked. We are. We're co-CEO, and we will be passing the baton. It's not forever. Like, we have multiple companies, but our goal is to get this thing developed and in a good flow in 12 weeks, where it's on track to double revenue and to double the profitability to profits. Like, that's growth and development, and we're investing in that. We're investing in our time and our money and our effort even to develop that and grow that. What does that look like? There's, again, and we're together. Some of you that are single are going like, man, I don't even know what it's like to have that shared roles, have that shared responsibility. I get it. I understand that some of you don't even know what that's like, and I'm sorry that you have gone through that you are dealing with that in your life. It's real. Nope. Never had that. Oh my goodness. Yep. Yeah, to have that would be phenomenal, right? And you're worthy of having that. Women, I would love to see the women comment of, have they ever experienced that? What would that be like for you to have that shared responsibility of the the finances, the even where you're going to live, how you're going to put bread and food on the table, how you're going to, you know, make decisions about the children, and where you're going to go to church, and what does that look like, to have that date night, and for him to decide what night is date night, and him decide what when he plans it out for you, right? And he pursues you consistently. It's possible. Just as I was married and I still didn't experience. I get it. It's unfortunate that men are, and women too. Think about it. Like, women just, again, they think that's the way it's supposed to be, or that's the way it's meant to be. That's what marriage is all about. That's not true. It's not true. God's called us to yoke and be equally yoked in the process, and He's going to bless us wherever we choose to be equally yoked. Like I was sharing with the roles and responsibilities even of the home, and how a lot of times the the wife gets the bulk of it. Why? The same thing with, the cash flow and the work. When I read about the virtuous woman, okay, in Proverbs, she is awesome. I mean, again, men, you can choose to see your wife as not doing those things, or you can choose to see her as the potential to do those things. And again, it's not. It's funny. Chantel did a talk about this. It was super powerful, and she said, "Look, this isn't pressure; it's empowering. It's not pressure of what you're doing wrong, how you're failing as a woman to be compared to this thing and be like, see, this is the virtuous woman. What's wrong with you? No, it's empowering to know that's what you're capable of, and being able to know that you can be the breadwinner just like your husband is. You can be the one who is in the marketplace developing those relationships just like your husband is, and even in regards to your husband. That's just smart business, by the way. Same thing I do when I go into the public forum and I'm out there. I'm literally endorsing my wife and telling people she's the boss, she's in charge, and talking about how powerful she is and what a great woman she is, that she is a great leader and leading the people that we serve and connecting with our clientele, that she's powerful and good at this. She does the same for me. Like when you look at the virtuous woman that is in the city gates endorsing her husband, that's powerful. But men, that doesn't mean you don't endorse your wife. Like, oh, she's good at homemaking. No, why are you saying that? What is that? Why are you putting her in a box? She's worthy of doing and being in the role and responsibilities that she would like to do, that she chooses. You don't choose for her. You ask, what would you like to do? What role would you like to be a part of the business? Would you like to? And I do believe that if you and your wife, you and your girlfriend, you and your fiance will begin to synchronize together and work even together, there is power in that. There's going to be so much more abundance, so much more blessings, because you choose to yoke together, even in that process of not just your relationship and roles and responsibilities in the home, but in the business. It's super amazing. I was told to take care of the kids. He provided, although I had a full time job too. And she says, I have no idea what it would be like to experience that. Yeah, this is real from a woman. I was married, didn't experience that. No idea what it would be like to experience shared responsibilities. And then I was told to take care of the kids and that he was providing, even though she had a full time job at the same time. It's sad and real. Again, that doesn't mean she can't work. I'm not saying that, or she shouldn't work. No, it's just then she's expected to take care of the kids and take care of the roles and responsibilities of the home. Like, that is crazy. How then men will come home. I ain't changing a diaper. I ain't making the food. I ain't doing dishes. I've been working all day. And seriously, women literally can say the same. So, in a lot of these situations, the yoke. The yoke is actually very empowering. The yoke is very beneficial. Are you willing? And find a man that is willing, by the way, women. And men, seriously, get your shit together, bro. Come on. Like, start being willing to step up. Stop whining and crying about, oh, I worked all day. Are you serious? So did she. Like, seriously. Now, I know there's exception on both sides. We got lazy guys, we got lazy wives, lazy husbands, lazy wives. It's real. That just, and again, that's a whole nother topic of mindset and what that looks like, But the reality is if you don't work, you don't eat. If we really lived by that and walked by that, like, you'd be finding a lot of thin people. I'm just saying. I'm finally getting it, not settling. Well, good job, Sheila. It's amazing. And it feels good to just be like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a man who's teachable and coachable, and find a man who gets what it means to yoke up, who's willing to learn if he doesn't know what it means to yoke up, what it means to have shared roles and responsibilities. Then He's willing to learn what that means, willing to learn how to cook. Look, you think I'm saying that men are always supposed to cook. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you can share in this, that you can yoke in this, and that there will be massive blessings. It's real. God bless you. We'll carry on this conversation. This is our conversation this week, roles and responsibilities and in the home. And what does it look like even to prepare for that? What does it look like to come into sync as a couple? And how do we do this? What happens when you get out of sync? We talked about that a little bit today. But we're going to carry on this conversation. So join me back here every day, 5 a.m. Some days I go longer because I have the opportunity and the time. Some days I have clients and appointments and I can't. But this is real. This is real stuff, real life situations. And I want you to share. Please share and tell me what you're experiencing or what's happening in your world that is keeping you from having your best life, an epic life. That's what we believe in. Epic your life. And if you're here for the first time watching this channel, it's growing, and I'm grateful, super grateful to those of you. Since the beginning of the year, we have grown more in this month than we grew like 6 months last year. And it's because you are liking, you're subscribing, you're sharing our channel, and we want to get it out there. What it looks like to have healthy, epic marriage, epic relationship skills that develop into an epic marriage. And we are the Amish Matchmakers. We have gained that reputation by matching people up, helping Amish singles to find godly spouses. We help the English too, by the way, but it's just our reputation. We're not Amish at all, Chantel and I, but we help people to find godly spouses, create epic marriages through our marriage mastery process, and then develop leadership skills that will create legacy that is rooted in faith, freedom, and above all else, love. Love today. Love your spouse today. Love your girlfriend today. Love your fiance today by taking something off their plate, not adding something to it of how they're falling short or what they're doing wrong. It's your opportunity to be loved. Thank you, Sheila. And you're worthy of being loved, but you also got to be willing to love in that way and be willing to do the work, not just receive it, but give it. And that's where it all comes together as we learn and work hard to outgive each other. We're going to define that this week and some more ways you can do that. So have a blessed day. Have an amazing week. God bless you. Thanks for joining me today, this morning. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. And we'll be back in probably about 20, 30 minutes. Chantel and her perspective on this. We want to get the woman's perspective too. We'll be back here live in a little bit. Thank you. God bless.